Hello guys, today we are going to look at the money multiplier. The money multiplier. We will be looking at the general case. Okay, so first of all, we are going to define money as our currency plus our deposit. So I will use M to represent money, which is equals to currency plus deposit. And this one is also known as the M1. So the C here means currency, and this means deposit, or some say checkable deposits. Checkable deposits. It's deposit. Great. So first of all, we are going to link the money supply to that of the monetary base, and then we let our M equal the money multiplier. So first of all, I will say M is equals to small m and MB, where MB, this one is known as the monetary base. This one is known as the monetary base. And this one is known as the money multiplier. So in short, I'll say this is known as the multiplier. Great. So this is known as the multiplier. So great. Now in this case, we also know that the monetary base is equals to, so we have three components. We have the money or the money supply, which is M. So the M is the money supply, the monetary base is the MB, and the money multiplier is a small m. So I'm looking at the monetary base now. So monetary base is also known as a high-powered money, which we define as our currency plus our reserves. Is okay? Which is defined as where our R equals to the reserves. Now in reserve, we also have, so we can say that our reserve is equals to the required reserves plus the excess reserve. You know, ideally, anytime that you deposit your money with a bank, the bank is expected to keep a percentage with them. They cannot give out all the money that you give to them as loans. So let's say you deposit your 100 euros with the Deutsche Bank. What the Deutsche Bank does is they keep a proportion of your money. Monday through, they are supposed to keep that part of it, and then they give out the remaining ones out as loan to people. So let's say you the required ratio is 10%. That means if I deposit my 100 euros, if I deposit my 100 euros with the Deutsche Bank, then the Deutsche Bank is supposed to keep 10%, which is 10. That's the required reserve. So they are supposed to keep this with the central bank. That is the required reserve. And then they give out the 90. They give out the 90 euros out. Then they can give this 90 euros out as loan to people who are in need of money, right? So that is what the percentage that we have here, so we are calling the required reserve. Is okay. Then sometimes some banks are able to keep even more than what it is required of them. Let's say instead of keeping the 10 euros which is required of them, some can keep 30 euros. Now, when you keep 30 euros with the central bank, then what it means is that the 20 euros difference, you are supposed to keep 10 euros, but you ended up keeping 30 euros. Then the 20 euros difference goes into what? Excess reserves. That means it goes into excess reserves. And previously, when you have excess reserves, it wasn't earning interest. But for now, once you have reserves, I think it earns interest. Is okay? Great. Now, now this required reserve that we have here, it is always as a percentage of what? The deposit, as a percentage of your checkable deposit. So let's say the central bank will say that, okay, if you end up having 100 million deposits in your bank, then you are supposed to keep 10% of it, right? So the 10% of it that you are going to keep is a function of what? The deposit that you have. If that is the case, then it implies that we can write required reserve as what? As a percentage of, or a fraction of deposit. So then I can say required reserve is equals to, so let me use small r. Let me use small r here to indicate the required reserve is equals to this r over the deposit. Is okay. So this, the required reserve that we have here divided by the deposit should give you the required reserve ratio. So the R here means required reserve ratio. Is okay. If that's the case, then I can say that then my required reserve is equals to the required reserve ratio multiplied by my deposit. Is okay. I'm trying to write the required reserve in terms of what? The required reserve ratio and deposit. If that is the case, then we can as well do same for each of the equations that we have here. Then I can say my excess reserve is equals to excess reserve. So I'll call the excess reserve ratio E. So I'll say then that is the same as is equals to ER over deposit, which implies that then my excess reserve is equals to E multiplied by D. So if I want to make this one the subject, just multiply here by D, here multiply here by D, and that gives me ER equals to D. In the same vein, then we can do some for currency. So we can say, so this in this case, E here indicates excess reserve ratio. Is okay. So in the same way, we can do some for currency. So I can say then I'm also going to write currency as a function of what? D. Then I can say let's small c, which is also equals to currency ratio. Which is also equals to currency ratio. Is equals to currency ratio be defined as small c is equals to currency over deposit. In that case, I can also say then my big C is equals to small c multiplied by D. Is okay? Great. Now let me go back to my monetary base again. So we said monetary base. Now we are assuming that we have excess reserve. I can say monetary base is equals to currency plus required reserve plus excess reserve. These two components gives us what? The reserves. Your excess reserves plus your required reserves gives the reserves. Is okay. Then because we have been able to write this in a function of D, I can say then monetary base is equals to small c multiplied by D plus R multiplied by D plus E multiplied by D. Is okay. Then I can say my monetary base is equals to C plus R plus E multiplied by D. So I would like to make D the subject in this case. So I will divide here by C plus R plus E. C plus R plus E. So this cancels this. Then I'll have my deposit is equals to 1 over C plus R plus E multiplied by the monetary base. Is okay. So if you remember, we also said the money is equals to what? Currency plus checkable deposits, right? And now we've come to the conclusion that C is equal to what? The currency ratio multiplied by deposit. And I can say then the money is equals to small cd plus D. Is okay. Then I can factor out and say that the same as what? Money is equals to 1 plus the small c multiplied by D, right? And when we solve for the first equation, we had D as equals to what? D as being 1 over C plus REMB, right? That means in place of the D in the second equation, I can write this one there and say This one is the same as M is equals to 1 plus C times, we know the D is equals to what? 1 over 1, so 1 over C plus R plus E monetary base, right? Then I can say M is equals to 1 plus C all over C plus R plus E multiplied by a monetary base is okay. So I can use this whole expression to represent M. So now I will say M is equals to MB, where small m is equals to 1 plus C all over C plus R plus E, right? So this is what we call the money multiplier. So this expression here, the M here. So if somebody asks you, what are the determinants of money multiplier? So it means money multiplier is a function of what? Your currency ratio, required reserve ratio, and then excess reserve ratio. So these are what the composition of what the money multiplier. So whatever happens to this affect this. So this information C, R, and E determines the money multiplier, right? Great. So now the next question somebody may ask is, what are the determinants of money supply? What are the determinants of money supply? Great. Now, so now we've gotten to know that our money supply, when it's M, is equals to M over MB, right? So the determinants of money supply are this and this. But let's look at the composition of these things, right? Okay, so I can say that then money supply M is also a function of the money multiplier and the monetary base. That is, these are the things that determines the money supply, right? It's okay. And we know the monetary base consists of what? Currency ratio, required reserve ratio, excess reserve ratio, and then the monetary base, right? And look at something. This monetary base can be split also into two. We have the borrowed reserves and the non-borrowed reserve. So I can say this monetary base is equals to non-borrowed reserve. So non-borrowed monetary base, sorry. So let me use MB. So non-borrowed monetary base and that of plus the borrowed reserve. So these are, so if I decide to split the monetary base into two, that is non-borrowed monetary base and then borrowed, right? Okay, great. So now let's look at what is going to be the implication of this information on the money supply. Let's look at what is going to be the implication. So now I'll come here and say money supply response, money supply response. Okay. So first of all, I'm going to start with, let's say I'll call this one player. You know, the key players. Let me look at the variable here. And let me look at changing variable, changing the variable. And I'll look at the money supply response, money supply response. And I'll also give reasons to why it is so. So first, let's look at, let's say, you see, when it comes to money supply, we have three key actors. We have the Federal Reserve, we have the Federal Reserve System, we have the banks, and then we have the depositors. It's okay. So let's start with the Federal Reserve. That is the Central Bank Federal Reserve System, FR, Federal Reserve System. So they can control what, let's say, the non-borrowed monetary base. So I'll look at here and say non-borrowed monetary base, non-borrowed monetary base is okay. Non-borrowed monetary base into bracket, I use MBN is okay. So let's look at, in case non-borrowed monetary base increases, what happens to our money supply? Is okay. So let's go back to the equation again. Let's go back to our equation. Let's go back to our equation. This is our equation. Great. We said money supply is equals to monetary base, money multiplier, and the monetary base, right? But this monetary base, we have tried to decompose it into two. So I can say this monetary base here is the same as this non-borrowed monetary base plus the borrowed reserve, right? Is okay. So we are looking at the situation whereby this one has increased. So if non-borrowed monetary base increases, that is this one here increases. So if this one increases, what happens to our money supply? Money supply will increase, right? And the money supply will increase because once this one increases, we have more monetary base for deposit creation. It's okay. We have more monetary base for deposit creation. So that is the reason. Now let's look at, so I'll come back and say, if money supply, so when this one increases, money supply will increase because we have more monetary base for deposit creation. Great. Now let's look at the second one. The central bank can also use of required reserve because they determine it. Required reserve. Let's say they increase the required reserve ratio. Now, when they increase required reserve ratio, what do you think will happen to the money supply? It's supposed to go down, right? Because let's say if you give, now we've already agreed that you see the banks are able to create money. When you give out your money to them, when you deposit your money with your bank, what your bank does is they keep the required reserve ratio, that is, they keep the required reserve. Now the remaining one is given out as sorts loan. Now when they give out the remaining one out as loan, through that they are able to create money, right? That is how come the money supply, that is why we are getting the money supply. So once you deposit your 100 euros and the required reserve is 10%, that means they are going to keep the 10% with them and they give out the 90 euros as loan to people. Through that they are able to create money. So that is one way. So let's say you go to the bank, you go and deposit your 100 euros with the bank. It's okay. Once you deposit your 100 euros with the bank is keeping 10%, which is the 10 euros. They give out the 90 euros as loans. But then the next day the bank goes and then central bank has increased the reserve ratio to 20%. Then what it means is that now with your same 100 euros, they are unable to give out the 90 euros out as loan again, right? Because they are now going to keep 20 euro and then they give out 80 euros, right? Now once they are reducing the amount that they are able to give out as loan to people, then it means it's going to limit what the ability to create more money. Is okay. So what it means is that when required reserve ratios goes up, the money supply will come down. Because what's the reason? Less multiple deposit expansion. Because at the end of the day, the money that you are giving to them, they are keeping 20% instead of the 10%, right? So it limits their ability to create more money. And when you go into the mathematics, let's look at something. We got this as monetary base. Great. So this is our money multiplier, right? Now when when this one goes up, what happens to the expression here? It comes down. So what it means is that when R goes up, the money multiplier comes down. Now once the money multiplier is going down, what happens to the money supply? It means what? It also goes down because this monetary base and this one is going down. So what it means, the money supply goes down. It's okay. So using the mathematics you can explain it and you are not wrong. It's okay. Now the next one that we are going to also look at is, let's see, the next one that we are going to look at is the borrowed reserves. Now when the borrowed reserves also goes up, when the borrowed reserves when the borrowed reserves, when borrowed reserves goes up, what it means is that our money supply also goes out. It goes up. It's okay. It also goes up. And you can explain that again using the mathematics here too. We said monetary base is what? We wrote it somewhere here. Monetary base. Okay, so we said now we have agreed that M is equals to M over MB, right? And we know that the MB is equals to what? Monetary base, non-borrowed monetary base plus the borrowed reserves, right? So when the borrowed reserve goes up here, what happens to money supply? It also goes up, right? And when the borrowed reserve goes up, the same thing, we are now having what? More monetary base, because we have more monetary base. And once we have more monetary base, it means we can what? Create deposits. We have more monetary base for or deposit creation. Is okay. Now the next one that we are going to also examine is what? Excess reserves. So excess reserves. You see excess reserves. Now when your excess reserves go up, what happens to your money supply? Your money supply comes down. You see, when you have your required reserves and you decide to keep more than that, what it means is that the money that you could have given it out as loan, you are now rather keeping the money with the central bank, right? So it limits your ability to create more money. It's okay because you don't give out more loans. Because if there's excess reserves, it means what? There's less loans. Now, if there's less loans, it means because you create money when you give out more loans. And in the case that you're having excess reserve, it means you are limiting your ability to create more money, and that reduces your money supply. Is okay. Now, the last one that we would also look at is the currency holdings. So what happens if the currency holdings goes up, right? So let's say if currency holding goes up, let's look at the mathematics too. Now, when currency holding goes up, what it means is that instead of you keeping your money with a bank, because it is only when you keep your money with a bank that they are able to give the money out as what? Loans, and then create more money. So if you now decide to keep more of your money with you instead of keeping it with the bank, then it's going to what? Reduce the ability of the banks to create more money. That means our money multiplier will what? Go down. And once it goes down, it means we are unable to create more money. So our money supply will also what? Come down. Yeah, the money supply will also come down. So this is all for the money multiplier. So in the next discussion, I'm going to solve questions using the money multiplier and the money supply so that it will make sense to everybody. Thank you. Please do not forget to subscribe to my video. I thank you very much.